Hi, this is Jim Moyna. The channel's Moyna Bass Fishes, and I'm back out on Lake Okeechobee after fishing the Bassmaster Open the last couple of days. I came out here this afternoon. This is day 3. The guys are cleared out, so I came out here to do a little instructional know-how type video. In my wrap-up video of the tournament, I kind of talked about sparse cover and thick cover for spawning. So I'm just going to give you an example here of what I'm talking about, the differences between thick cover and sparse cover. So right in front of me, I've got some sparse cover, and first we'll show it at Lowrance. So you can see this stuff right there, and that's the kind of thing they'll spawn next to. Now I'll show you here. Now I'll just move the boat ahead a little bit and show you what's actually there above water. That just one little twig, and you can see there was like a whole mess of stuff down there, right? So and then here's another one right over here. So this is the kind of stuff you want to cast at. Bass like to have a lot of sun exposure on their beds, and this one here's, let's see, there's what that looks like. Well, I'm too close now. So anyways, that's the kind of stuff the fish like to have a lot of sun exposure on their beds, so that's where they'll set up. They'll also set up, I mean, it doesn't have to be that isolated. They'll also set up on, little points away from the main vegetation. So you got a little point out here. One might set up on the end of this, or on the sparse edges of it. Here's a little island. They could be set up around this island. Here's a little. This might actually be floating. I don't know. But this sparse cover like this. Here's another little island. That's the kind of thing. Here's some spatterdock pads. This is the kind of stuff where they like to set up, is in these types of more sparser cover. Whereas now they're not gonna make a bed just socked right up in the middle of this. Like for example, I mean, it's not as likely, let's put it that way. So I don't tend to find as many beds like along the edges of this really heavy stuff like this. I mean, there's a chance. So like in a hole right there, maybe there could be one. But was my experience, the more I got away from just super cover, heavy cover like this, the better chances I had of getting a bite off of a spawning type of habitat. All right, so let me flip that around. Okay, sorry. Why don't we'll go take a visit to one of the little areas where I was actually fishing, where I did catch a bunch of fish in that thicker cover, because this wasn't it, but there are beds on some of this stuff out here. And I'll just show you kind of the pocketed type cattails that I was dealing with. So we'll cut away and come back. Okay, now I'm going to show you an area where I caught a lot of fish, but they're just small fish. And the guys that were not, I mean, there was fish up in here, but the guys that did well in this part of the lake, in this area, were not fishing up in this stuff. So they were fishing behind me. So I'll show you so just, there's openings in this cattails. I mean, you can see all these openings in that, but I could not get any quality fish out of here yesterday. I caught probably like 25 keepers in this kind of habitat. But if you just go right out here, that sparse cover out here in that open area, that's where the bigger ones were. So, but Now, if it gets really cold, I'm trying to adjust this phone. Okay, if it gets really cold, a lot of those fish might pull back up in here into this heavier cover because that's what they like to do. So that's where I went wrong in this tournament. On day 2, I got up in this really thick stuff that's behind me, and there was just lots of little fish, just fish that weren't just non-spawning type fish. And when I did finally catch a couple good ones late in the day, sorry, it actually came. As I was plowing through this stuff with my Minn Kota, I actually found a little like 1/3 of an acre opening back in there that had some fish in it. And that's late, like with 30 minutes left, I caught a couple of my better, I had 3 3-pounders in my bag to go with a couple of 2.5-pounders, and 2 of my 3-pounders came in that last 30 minutes in that open area back in some cattails. So that's kind of the lesson. I guess one more thing I'll show you is some more, what it'll look like on electronics. So let's do that. I kind of showed you that already, but let's do one more on that, and then we'll call it a wrap. All right, let's just show you some more Lowrance Active Target video footage of what this area looks like underwater. So let me flip this around, and here we go. So see, a lot of the stuff doesn't even stick up above the water, but these are like just dead weeds out here. Now, by weeds, I mean cattail clumps, and could be bulrush clumps, but right around here I think it's mostly cattails clumps. And the fish will just spawn on the knobs of that kind of stuff. So, oops, sorry. So I can spin this around, rotate this around, give you different looks. See, now there's some emergent cattails, and you can see how that just towers all the way to the top. Of course, here's our depth right over here. Got it on a 15-foot scale right now. So just kind of scanning around, and there's a fish right there. Oh, it was a fish. Don't know what it was because there's so many gar in this lake. There's another fish right under the 30 mark. But yeah, this is kind of, as I rotate the head of the trolling motor around, this is kind of the look you get. That's what we're throwing at. That's where the quality fish were in this area. I mean, like I said, I caught a bunch up in tighter, but to win this, or to do really well in this tournament, apparently a guy needed to be out in this stuff more. And why was I up in that tighter stuff? Because on day 1, there was still some fish up in this tighter stuff, some quality fish. So then on day 2, after about 2 hours of fishing out in this thinner stuff and just having some small ones at that point, I decided to get up in that tighter stuff and start catching fish. But again, they were little ones, but I'm like, well, I'm catching fish up here and nobody's up in this stuff. So I pretty much had it all to myself all the way up to the end of the day and finished out all the money. So 51 out of 225, if I didn't mention that. So anyways, thanks for watching this video, and that's it. I'm gonna dial in some fish here, hopefully. Although this area's been hit pretty hard, but it doesn't seem really to matter. So here we go.